Me and my partner pick a bale of cotton now. Me and my partner pick a bale a day. I jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton now. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day.
Welcome to the Standing in This Place podcast. I'm Rachel Carter and I'm the artist behind this project, supported by National Lottery project grants through Heritage Lottery. I'm going to be telling the historic tale of the intertwining of the lives of women working in the textile mills of the industrial Midlands and the enslaved women working the cotton fields in the Americas. For this episode, we sent Lisa from MonOlisa Productions to talk with Isalyn Martin. Born in Saint Kitts Nevis, she is one of our legacy makers here in Nottingham.
Well, I'm from Saint Kitts, the smallest island in the Caribbean, and I came here when I was 2. And I've always lived in the meadows, just off Arkwright Street. I can remember the big old wash house. I can remember the Saturday night shabeen parties where everybody went down the cellars for a good time out. It's often raided by police. Arkwright was very busy. A lot of people from Saint Kitts lived there. I lived in the old terrace houses with the outside toilets, the old Regifusion television that we used to have to bang to get a reception. Every Saturday we had Saturday soups and people came round and we shared our food. We had to go to church every Sunday. All my sisters, we all looked the same, all dressed in the same outfit. We had to go to church every Sunday, and every Sunday afternoon we had to go to church. So life was in church. People survived. We had the old fires, the old paraffin lamps, to keep us warm in the winter, very bad winters. I can remember the icicles hanging outside the kitchen door. The toilets were frozen, so we couldn't flush the toilets. A lot of people was poor. People didn't have toilet rolls. They used to use newspaper or any tissues they could get. We knew each other. People looked out for each other. Nobody, they weren't this rich and poor. People looked out for one another. Schools were, I went to the old Trent Bridge Junior School. You know, I spent most of my young days from about 5 to 11. That was near the embankment, which I think now has been converted into flats. And we used to go to the Santa Fe Youth Club. That was one of the only youth club in Nottingham. Loads of people used to come down to the youth club. And I used to love the youth club. We used to have orange juice. We didn't used to drink alcohol. There was no problems with drugs. We just used to meet up as teenagers and have fun in St. Faith's Church Hall. I think I was one of the Windrush children that arrived with another relative. My gran came first. She sent for my mum, and then my mum sent for me. And that's my recollection of coming over. I think I came over on a boat. I can remember sometime in the market they used to mock me when I used to go to market and I tried to barter. You used to say, "You didn't come from the banana boat, did you?" And I used to find that quite hurtful. But I probably did come on what they call the banana boat, because I can't remember flying. And I don't think Gran or my mum would have been able to afford to fly. So I think we did come to England from the boat.
Was there any particular sayings or wise words of wisdom that you recall your mum saying at that period of time when you was living in Arkwright Street?
I think my mum used to say quite a lot of sayings. She used to say, "Pig ask him army, what make him out long, sir?" And they said, "Wait and you will see." And that means they would ask, "Why are you living like this? You know, why are you working so hard? Wait and see until you get older, then you will experience why life was like this." It's been a soul-searching journey for me to look back on where I've come from, where I lived, and the history. Because before, I don't think it even entered my mind to think about Arkwright Street. It was only when I realised that from the legacy makers and from the looking at standing in the place that I've made the link, and I really feel quite happy about that I'm making this connection, because during my childhood there's been a loss because I've not looked at history and the importance to me. I think I was always consuming discrimination, racism, and trying to survive. Like I said, we lived in a small terrace house with small rooms. So it's about survival here and now as a child and as a teenager, rather than looking at history. It's only in the last 4 or 5 years, because I joined the Legacy Makers in 2014, that I've really been able to sit back and have the time and the energy to want to explore what happened from me as a child to where I am now, how we survived, where the connection between where I was born in the Caribbean, Bastia, St. Kitts, and the connection to industries in Nottingham. I say my mum worked in the hosiery trade from 8 till 5, and I think that's how she helped us to have not the luxuries, but the essentials of life. So she worked in this hosiery trade. So not only is it looking at me, it's looking at where my mum contributed to the hosiery trade. The more I talk about the hosiery trade and the cotton, it's made me reflect more on life more. I get more historical picture of where I've been, where I've come from. It's quite exciting, really. As I say, when I go down to Arkwright Street, because I go down to Arkwright Street to Midland Station, because I go down to the Meadows quite a lot because I enjoy the social activities down there. It's making me look at the place in a totally, totally different light, especially now we're getting the statue next to Arkwright Street. I walk down there with pride now thinking, yeah, Arkwright Street. You know, I've seen all the changes now. They've even put the tax office there. And I walk down there with pride now. I used to walk down there with pride before, but I keep thinking, you're still here, you're staying here. And you've got a good positive memory for me as citizens of Nottingham. When I first went to the Legacy Makers group, I thought this is another angle that I could explore myself. I could go to the library, find out more details about it, make the link from the cotton to Arkwright and Arkwright Street. So I kept thinking there's lots more learning.
How do you connect to the statue, the embrace of those two women?
I think I connect. I've always lived in Nottingham as a black woman. The statue is going to be placed not far from where I was brought up on Arkwright Street. The statue also makes me feel proud to be a black woman. The statue offers me hope. It symbolises that it's something that's going to be there long term. As I say, the statue offers me hope. Good symbolism. I've worked hard towards helping to fundraise, but I feel proud of the time that I've allocated to help towards the fundraising. I've shared my information with lots of my friends and lots of people that I know and people that I don't know. Women have worked hard in Nottingham, and this is one of the first, hopefully not the last, of the symbols that will be created in Nottingham for us to actually be proud of. Oh, the paraffin lamps, as I say, that was our only form in our house. That was our only form of heating. It brings back bad memories to me, though, because I set the house on fire twice with a paraffin lamp. I thought if I put a brick underneath it and made the flame a bit brighter, it would heat the room, but I forgot the paraffin lamp was on and I was downstairs and I set the house on fire. And do you know what I did? I didn't know nothing about the rules of fire. I got buckets of water and I threw it on the paraffin lamp, and the more water I threw on it, the bigger the flames came. So I did burn down my grand's house on Sunon Terrace, but it was a learning experience to me about oil and water don't mix.
If people said the two women don't mix, they would never have embraced, they would never have touched, what would you say to that?
Well, I'm thinking, I reflect back on the hosiery trade. Like I said, my mum used to work in the hosiery trade. So I think the mixing, Nottingham was full of hosiery factories until they've all been converted into flat. The mixing symbolises where it's come from, where it met, and how it's working together in 2024. And I think it's a start of where it joins, really.
Thank you, Lisa and Isalyn, for that fantastic interview. Isalyn, you really bring to life Nottingham of that time. And I'm sorry to hear about you burning down your grandmother's house. Looking at Nottingham's history is just, one of the many facets of this project. And this inspired our next poet, Abigail Hutchinson, to create her piece.
The making of Nottingham. Meet at the Left Lion where the kids are climbing and I can't quite see up a Parliament Street. I'm told it's where our ancestors used to meet. Only then they were divided, south to the right lion and north to the left. Leo and Oscar stand guard to the theft of our city through history. Joseph Else, not the pub but the person behind it. The architect of the council house which now stands in confusing glory. Allegorical groups at each corner that warn us of mistakes we have made. Promises engraved in our cityscape forever. Knowledge of the ways in which we encouraged injustice through auctions of people we use as a means to an end. Prosperity to those who can spend money to increase our economy. Need we not forget of those who are forced to keep them full? Civil laws in place to protect the companies that were built by people whose names were left out of the history books. Cormorants which should be replaced with compliance. But we refuse to view our ancestors in that light. A low relief frieze lies by steps as an act to remember the trades of our city. Let us not forget the traders. Like Joseph Else, they should be remembered for their work, for the ways they built our city up. So when I sit down at the steps and wait for you, I see them in a different light.
Thank you, Abigail, for that fantastic poem. Abigail is another one of our young writers from Writing East Midlands. It's really interesting to think about the history of the city that you've grown up in and to look at it in a different light. It takes time to absorb all of that histories and that new learning. And I think that's what's been evident in working with some of the young poets with Writing East Midlands, that they've absorbed all of this new history, this new narrative, this clarity has become evident in their poems. Thank you for listening to the Standing in This Place podcast. I hope you'll join me again for another episode.
Me and my partner pick a bale of cotton now. Me and my partner pick a bale a day. I jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton now. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day.